Welcome to Alex's cooking show. Today we're going to be making a Chorizo Carbonara that you can have for dinner or lunch or pack away. It's pretty simple. You just need some rosemary, garlic, some Parmigiano, you don't need the fancy stuff, some chorizo, 4 eggs, some pasta, salt and pepper, and a few knives and pans and pots. It's a pretty quick meal. You can make it in 10-15 minutes and it'll serve for this recipe, so half it if you want, only have 2, and double, and so on. So you need some nice sharp knives and everything like that. So we'll just get the chorizos ready to go and then we'll chuck them in the pan, but first we'll probably get everything ready. Pre-boil your hot water in a kettle, and it speeds up the process of getting pasta done and everything. So if you're in a rush, just do that. Not a big deal. So just clean your knives and keep a knife sharpener by your side, because a good way to treat your knives is always sharpen them before and after you use them. If you're like not fancy about your knives, just do it after you've cooked. But we're just going to chop this chorizo up into chunks and probably halve them, depending on how big you like your meat and your dishes. So chorizo are already seasoned unless you get yours pre-made for you or something, but you don't need to add any more seasoning. But it's good to season when they're in the pan, because it gives the outer texture, and when it gets crispy, a bit of flavour, and so it's not just bland. So that's remember to wash your hands before you start cooking. Just take your time with a knife sharp. You don't want to cut yourself. Remember to wash your hands and knives that you've used when you're touching the raw meat. So I'll just wash my hands, especially with soap. It doesn't matter really if you're cutting up the bag, like cutting the bag open with a small knife. You just wipe that down and it'll be good. So the chorizo is all done, so you want to grab something to pick it up and keep it nice and dialed in with. If I can find my tool. So we'll put it in one of these little containers for now while we do everything else. You want to do your meat and then let it rest so that all the flavours can just come out and be really nice, and you can have a real nice dish. You can put this on a plate, you can put it on whatever. Just nice to keep it in something like a bowl, just so the flavours don't like run down onto the plate. If you have a fancy tool, use that. So next we're going to get the egg mixture down, and while we're cooking the chorizo, just get that done. So grab a bowl, medium-sized bowl. Just 2 medium-sized bowls. For carbonara, you only need the yolks, which is quite useful. You can make other dishes when you need white. So I do it breaking the shell into half and then swapping them, and then when it's mainly out, you should put it back in the first one. Put the empty shell in the sink, and just use your hands to get the last little bit. Remember, try not to pop the yolk. It doesn't matter if you get a bit of whites in with the yolk, it won't do much. The yolks will overpower and it will come to a nice consistency. So just do that 4 times. If it doesn't go good the first time, just go straight into your hand, it won't matter. It's pretty easy. If you're a bit fancier than me, you can do it with one hand. Always check if your eggs are good. If they sink, they're good. If they float, chuck them out and get a new packet. Boom. So there are 4 egg yolks and then our egg whites. So you can just put your egg whites aside and cover them either now or at a later time, but we'll just put them aside for now. You're going to want to whisk up your egg yolks, not too much, and we're going to grab a bit of cream and just mix a bit of cream in, about 3 tablespoons. It'll go really white at the start and then it'll come back to a nice paste, but it'll be nice and liquidy. So it'll go darker as long as you leave it. So just give it a whisk up every like 5 minutes. And it'll keep nice. So we've got the chorizo, the egg and cream mixture, and we'll crush up some garlic, and we'll do the rosemary now. about 3 big ones and 2 small ones. And just use the back of your knife and just go like that. Don't do too much pressure. Just so it cracks the skin a bit. It doesn't matter if it cracks the garlic. But it'll help you get the skin off. You can either mince the garlic or you can chop the garlic into small thin pieces depending on how flavoured you want your carbonara to be. But for now we'll slice. Good time to get some oil in the pan. Watch your fingers. Watch your fingers when you chop the garlic because it's very sharp knife. You can leave the roots on, it won't do anything. Cut up. So on a low heat, both of them. We're just going to turn up the hot water to get it boiling. You can time your chorizo to go in when the water's just bubbling a tiny bit so that they should come out at a perfect timing, both. And just take the stalks out. You just get your 2 fingers and just pull and hold the stalk with the other hand. You want a decent amount. If you don't like garlic or rosemary, just put a little less in, but you won't regret putting it in, not putting it in. And just chop up the rosemary a bit fine. Yeah. So you can use fresh pasta, which cooks in about 2 to 3 minutes, same with homemade pasta, or you can just use dried pasta in those packets, like today we're going to be using dried. So just put the garlic and rosemary in one little pot. Get the bench nice and clean. So this is where you want to drain the pasta into a colander, or you can do it into the sink, but it's good to collect the water from here. So be careful when you pour this water because it might splash and the steam is quite hot. So the water will be straight going into the bottom, so for me. Like that. Right, done that. Drain the pasta. Just let it stay there. The steam will keep it cooking, so you don't need to worry about it. Just grab a bowl about that big. And this is just where we put the water in. Grab about a cup. So we got about half a cup, 3/4 of a cup, and just mix that in. And just do another half a cup, and they'll stay there. Don't get the hot water on your hand. Stop. So it's pretty easy, and then you get a big bowl, just mix up this mixture. So if you're short like me, just get a chair. Just get a big bowl. So we got this pasta bowl that we'll use. And this is what you'll mix it in, plus serve it in. And it'll be just easier all round. So this has just got hot from the water we put in. So that's quite moist. That how we saw it go in, that went in really nice. So you don't need to add extra oil to that because you already put the oil in with the pasta. So you want to move fast as soon as you put that egg in because you don't want it to scramble. And put your chorizo in. And just give that a light mix up. As you can see, that's nice and liquidy, and you've got it all nice. Put your parmesan in. and give that a mix up. You don't. The trick is, without scrambling it, to mix it a little, but mix them in, and it'll just get nice. And then, final touches, a bit of salt, bit of pepper, and then parmesan on top. And that's your Chorizo Carbonara.